Hey guys, and welcome to another Titan Tries. This time we're going to be playing a game called Welcome to Hanwell, which, if you remember quite a while ago, we played the sequel to this game. This is considerably rougher than the sequel. In fact, we're going to go one step further than that, and we're actually going to be playing this on the Switch. So, I believe at the time when we tried the sequel, which is called Beyond Hanwell, I didn't fully realise that it was a sequel, and I didn't know anything about the previous game. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. However, I have found the original, and yeah, this is a game of all time. Let's just say that. I randomly stumbled across it on the Switch, and it was on sale for £1.70 something. And I thought, you know what? Hey, for that sort of money, it's got to be worth a go. And my Switch has been untouched since I got my ROG Ally X. So I grabbed it, started playing around with it, thought I'd find something to play, found this. It's a thing. We're going to get into it a little bit in a second here. It's supposed to be £14, I believe, if you buy it on the Switch when it's not on sale, and on the PlayStation and Xbox. On the PC, I didn't realise this, it's been made free. But we're not going to do the PC version because this was my first introduction to it. And I have played a good chunk of the PC version. Unfortunately, I can't start the game from scratch because it will override my save. Because you only get one save. Yeah. Also, the PC version is very, very buggy. I've had numerous crashes. My controller has stopped working because I have been playing it a lot on my Ally X, where mouse and keyboard isn't really a thing, where you're holding it in your hand. So for ease of use, we're going to be taking a look at Switch. So this game, open world horror. Doesn't sound too bad when you say it like that. Welcome to Hanwell. Once a safe haven from the horrors of the world, now a cesspit of anonymous scum. Explore a dense open world of terror, every building a unique location with its own story to tell, strung together by the remnants of Hanwell. Yeah, so this game is set like in an inclusion zone. Kind of similar to the game we looked at last week, Hollow Body. But Hollow Body was really good, and I've actually completed that 3 times since we did that video. This has a slightly different sort of vibe going for it. So it's set in England, which is interesting, and the idea that it's open world is true, kind of. So there is something deeply unsettling about Hanwell. Unexplained noises, something in the corner of your eye, laying just beyond the shadows, create an atmosphere that will keep you constantly on edge. Monsters, known in the game as anomalies, roam the streets. They occasionally get into the once protected buildings. What you do with them is up to you. Be resourceful and pick up whatever you can find in order to fight them. If you think you can handle it, or run, and don't look back. There is an entire city to explore. Sort of. Featuring different environments, each more distinct than the last. Sort of. Alright, okay, he's really selling the game, by the way. Yeah. From residential homes, old English pubs, parks, stores, supermarkets, and government buildings, all the way to the infamous HCPP Research Centre. Each location holds its own backstory, leading to your arrival, upon which there will always be something happening. The Hanwell Council of Public Protection. When the anomalies first emerged, the Hanwell Council of Public Protection HCCP was formed to keep residents safe, providing equipment and expertise on preventing and preparation with the help of HCPP. Hanwell became one of the safest, if not most convenient places on the planet, but the council has fallen. You try to carry on as normal, but failing equipment and a lack of warning has become a major issue. In addition to this, you are being stalked by a mysterious individual who seems to be everywhere. The rest of the world closed the gates and left Hanwell to rot. Thus begins your journey. Warning, this game contains flashing images which may have an adverse on people suffering from photosensitive epilepsy. Yeah, so this was made by like one person. So bear that in mind, right? And the game is free on PC. So also, we will be judging it on those merits. Obviously, I have played a little bit of the game. Is this the worst game ever made? No. No, it's not. Are they overselling it a little bit here? A little bit. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? All right, so let's take a little look at the eShop page for this, because there are some unique Switch kind of selling points. Welcome to Hanwell comes the Nintendo Switch in its entirety, complete with stunning visuals and all of Hanwell to explore. Hanwell, once safe haven, yes. I'm sure that it says here. Yeah, it does mention here somewhere how they've managed... Oh, there you go. Using efficient state-of-the-art compression techniques, we've managed to squeeze Welcome to Hanwell into a tiny 3GB install for the Nintendo Switch with no perceivable loss in visual quality. And we all believed them. Anyway, let's go. Welcome to Hanwell. We're going to be starting a new game because I did play a little bit of this. And I do mean like a little bit of this, just to see what the game was actually like. And yeah, so how does this look visually compared to the PC version? Yeah, not good, if I'm being honest. But, you know, we're going to be saying okay. These shots seem to come from the PC version. To be honest, on the PC, this isn't an ugly game. It's a bland game, but it's quite pretty. On the Switch, yeah, it kind of looks like this. Kind of looks like, if I'm being honest, a Xbox 1.5 game. So here we are in Hanwell, walking around as ourselves. Who are we exactly? Well, we're actually intentionally nobody. The game blurb actually says you are whoever you want to be. You could be an explorer. You could be somebody left behind. Your backstory for your character is up to you. Yeah, they really did that. Anyway, we awaken from a morgue. And we are free to explore and look around. And as we can see, something rather unsettling has been going on. But let's take a little walk over here. Press A to interact.
I used a combination of anabolic steroids and insulin to initiate the subject. He exhibited an intense reaction to the drugs. Rapid muscle growth was observed, but a hormone imbalance has developed, causing extreme, uncontrollable rage. A substantial dose of clozapine seems to keep him under control.
Indeed. Okay, so we do have a Gribbly that kind of follows us. So this is the menu system. There is Dr. DNA to find. 100 samples of it. Yep. There's 50 witch eyes to find, and there's 15 artifacts. And that is all you get for your inventory. But anyway, enough about that. Let's start exploring these halls. Now, luckily, mercifully, we're not actually in here for long. Of course, on the Switch, this is running at 30 frames a second. If you're lucky, you know. On the PC, of course, it can be whatever your hardware supports. So, let's explore these harrowing corridors. So we can duck. Now, you might think this is just an Amnesia type game where we don't have any weapons, but you'd be wrong. We actually can have weapons and we can fight the enemies, but only when the game allows.
If anybody is listening to this message, you must...
Oh, she got murked.
I've had to lock away B6. His anger is getting more intense with each observation. He managed to tear off the door to his room. I've had to put him behind bars. No padding. The damage he does to himself barely has an effect anyway.
So this mysterious character seems to be doing experiments on people for reasons. And this is where this patient B6 was. Done a lot of damage himself. Doesn't look great. Yeah, not really sure what resolution this game's running at. It really doesn't even look like it's 720p, but that's to be expected. What's more important is the game runs smooth, I suppose. And we're at 30 frames a second, so yeah.
Research notes of 10/07/2021. The jail rejected my requests for another inmate, citing morality as a reason. The mayor has taken the same stance. They told me the only people they are currently holding haven't had a trial, that I might as well just snatch someone from the streets.
So this dude is taking people from the jail and experimenting on them. Nice. Sounds like quite a guy. So we can look behind us by holding LZ. And yeah, I only really recommend doing that if you want to be sick.
The goddamn savage bit me. He's lost almost all real cognitive function, leaving only anger. As a precautionary and punitive measure, I stapled his mouth shut.
I mean, that seems reasonable, to be fair. If some dude's going around biting, then yeah, staple his mouth shut. I'm sure that would solve the problem. So, now we have a flashlight. Press Y to toggle the flashlight. Be careful, overusing the flashlight will cause it to malfunction. Yeah, this is what completely ruins the game. So, the flashlight is essential. Right? There are plenty of places in this game that are just pitch black. You cannot see. You cannot see. You cannot make progress. When the flashlight overheats, and overheats it does quickly. It takes a full 2 minutes before you can turn it back on again. And I've been in plenty of situations in this game where you're just sitting in a dark room for a couple of minutes until the flashlight pops back up. And then it very quickly dies. Really do not like that mechanic at all. Access the inventory by pushing the button. The minus button. From the inventory you can view, yeah. So we can only hold I think it's 6 items unless we add to the keyring. And then we have them forever and they don't take up inventory space. Don't question it. Right. Well, by the sound of that, we are not alone. Now, let's get out of here. Now, what's interesting about this part of the game is, yeah, if he finds us, he'll find us and kill us like that in one shot. If I remember correctly, he's actually faster than us as well. So sometimes he'll see us and sometimes he won't. I can't quite work out his AI. So I think what we're going to do is just run. Getting out of here, in theory, isn't that challenging. Terror! But, yeah. So we're just going to keep running. Hey, buddy. Yeah, but there's nothing we can do. Like, if he catches us, we're dead. Game over. Unless we're outside. When we're outside, everything changes. It actually doesn't look too bad on the Switch, to be honest. It looks significantly worse in handheld mode, which I guess that makes sense. Actually feels good to use the Switch again. And with the upcoming Switch 2, I don't know. I don't know whether I want a Switch 2. I don't know. I don't use it enough, you know? I'm undecided. And now we are outside. We are free and we can use our flashlight. I'm guessing we just slam the door on Matey Boy's face. Just like one last fuck you on the way out. Now you can tell that your flashlight is getting a bit balky because it starts to flash. Already the flashlight is like overheating. If you turn it off, it will slowly recharge. And I do mean slowly, right? This completely ruins the game, in my opinion. Combat. Attack with R and block with L. Be sure to keep moving. Drop your weapons with L. Why would you want to drop your weapons, I hear you say? Well, we can't enter buildings whilst holding a weapon because the building is protected. But I don't know what that means. You probably don't know what that means, but that's what it says. Radio. Press B to toggle the radio. The radio plays a continuous audio feedback of your surroundings, emitting static whenever an enemy is nearby. So, yeah, they are the enemies. Combat in this game is pretty weird. When we hear that siren, that means that there is a baddie on the loose close to us. You can outrun the enemies, but the enemies that come to you are random. Okay, so this is one of the Doctor's DNAs. There is 100 of those to find. They are scattered kind of all over, sometimes almost next to each other. It's, yeah, weird, to be honest. Anyway, let's keep exploring, shall we? There is a house. When outdoors, you can toggle sprint by double tapping sprint. When we're outside, we have unlimited sprint. When we're inside, we do not have unlimited sprint. Again, if someone could explain the mechanics behind that, I'd be interested. Right, so here's one of the enemies. I don't know what these things are. And every time we kill one, we get this weird slow-mo. And 1 second, guys, the door is going. Back. It was Amazon delivering cat litter, of all things. So, our health regenerates, and it regenerates pretty quick. So, the combat doesn't seem to be too much to write home about. However, when you do get killed, you respawn at your last checkpoint, which resets a lot of stuff. And there seems to be a lot of random events that happen in this game, which you can kind of get into some interesting situations. And then if you die, it like resets the game. So you lose the random event even if you're like halfway through it, and it's confusing. So these doors are boarded up. And as you can see, the building is protected. You cannot enter with a weapon. Why? We don't know. Are there enemies in buildings? Yeah, sometimes. But if you enter a building with a weapon, that generally means that there's going to be enemies inside. But there does appear to be some buildings you can't enter with a weapon, but they also have enemies inside, but you can pick up a weapon when you're inside. Don't question it, guys. Seriously. There's a lot of weirdness with this game. So anyway, we are inside a main building. Oh, and there's a big old eyeball staring at us. And I must make another break because my missus has just come home from work. Alright, and we're back. So, let's continue exploring. Well, this place looks very fancy, I'll be honest. Look at that. Very nice. You'll notice that's a bit of a trend for a lot of the houses in this game. They're very, very nice. I think we can play with the piano as well. We can. I don't know what that achieves, if anything. Probably nothing. Hanwell Council of Public Protection. Enemies in your area. Prepare. Hanwell. Okay. Yeah, look at this place. Looks really fancy. See our torch is starting to dim now. Now in this house, it's not too bad. You can just about make your way through without the torch. But many areas of the game are literally pitch black. Let's see what else we've got going on over here.
I've just got word that you've authorized the arrest of Isabel Miller. I'm going to need a copy of the arrest warrant you've signed. A few of our residents who are familiar with your work have expressed concerns that you may be abusing the authority I have given you.
Okay. So, this game heavily relies around this woman that was mentioned. And we have to find pieces of her personal identification. And that's the basis of the game.
Daniel, I'm growing concerned with the doctor's actions. I know you work closely with him, but I'm also certain of your loyalty to our residents. Keep me posted on his latest research, will you?
And our torch has died. And you can see we've got a torch symbol down in the bottom left. Now, we can't turn the torch on now. It's completely dead. That will recharge. What would have been better, I think, is if that meter actually stayed on the screen so you could see how your torch is doing. Anyway, let's explore. There are some pickups to find. Like I found one set of batteries. We have a key. We have again a rather nice bathroom with some more doctor DNA. We'll take some of that. Scattered across Hanwell, the Doctor has left preserved strands of his DNA. Collect all and return here to claim your rewards. I sort of know what you get if you find all 100 pieces. It unlocks some sort of teleporter, but by the time you actually would have 100 units of his DNA, you're going to be basically at the end of the game anyway, so it's kind of moot. Also, clock how long it takes for the torch to recharge. It's a while. So what have we got here? Press the minus button to see clearly. Isabel Miller card holders. Herself, jail. Sam Nicholas, church. Taylor Walsh, hospital. Walter Young, power plant. Brett Chambers, school. Now, I have completed the church, I have completed the jail, and I have completed the power plant. And the school as well. So I only actually had the hospital left. I have one piece left for the mayor, Miller. Was the only other Class 1 citizen in Zone 3. Without her card, nobody can access the council building. So that's the rub of the game. We have to find all of the pieces of her card and get into the council building. Now, this game is very short, if you want it to be.
I am currently at the council building and will remain here for the foreseeable future. I cannot stress enough how important it is that you remain inside my home. Keep the doors down and prepare for all types of anomaly. I promise your loyalty to the cause will be rewarded. And it starts tonight. Tonight, the council will fall.
Yeah, so you can see this doctor seems to be in charge, and he's obviously up to no good. It's always an X. Okay. So let's have a little look. I believe the code... Also, you can glitch the keyboard out. Yeah, you could do that on the PC as well. So bear that in mind. So we've got 1973. Oh, no, we fucked the keyboard up. Now, there's very little on this game in any of the Steam forums or anything like that, apart from people expressing just how broken this game is. There we go. The church has been added to your map. Oops. It's also very hard sometimes to actually pick things up. Dear Mayor Lawson, here is a piece of Isabel Miller's citizenship card. You may keep this as a reminder of what will happen to you should you oppose me. I split the card into 6 pieces and distributed them amongst Hanwell's most prominent citizens. You are the last. Hanwell belongs to me. Regards, the Doctor. Okay. Well, so we've got our first piece. Alright, our torch is ready again now. See how long that took? Now let's go. Like I said, I have found some replacement batteries for the torch, but in all of that exploration, like almost completing the game essentially, I found one refill. So this door here is what we need. Return here when you have collected all 100 Doctor DNA samples. Now, collecting all of the DNA, that's quite the task. But we have a location marked on our map. The church. It does take a little bit of loading on the old Switch here. Now on the PC, quite often during these loading screens, once the game has loaded, it crashes, which is great. And it is dark. It seems to be, and I'm not sure if this is written in stone, but when we leave a building, like a random amount of time would have passed, there is a day and night cycle. So here's our map, and it's a proper 3D map of the entire area. A piece of Isabel Miller's citizenship card is in the church. Now, the thing is, we know where all these pieces are because we have discovered that bit of information. But we can discover any area as we wish. You are now free to explore and do as you please. There are 6 pieces of Isabel Miller's citizenship card across Hanwell, and we can go to these at any point. Now, if we keep looking, keep scrolling, we will come across other icons. These are generally buildings and points of interest that we can explore. Although maybe they only show up once we've done one area. Now, these flashy things down here, that's an anomaly. And that in the corner there, in the center of the screen, is a piece of Doctor DNA. So they do actually show up on the map, which is cool. It's nice. But they are a nightmare to get to. Because the enemies are random encounters, essentially. And the save points are very few and far between. Essentially, you have to save at an ATM machine. In my exploration of this game, there's only a few of them. If you die, it resets you to your last save. However, I do think it keeps your collectibles and whatnot. But there is a bit of a problem, and that is I literally can't find anywhere that has a building we can enter which will have a green symbol above it of an open door. No, I'm guessing we can't explore any yet. Yeah, it'll be like that essentially when you can enter. I think you have to like find it first maybe. Because there was an interesting house that I walked into. I think it was here somewhere. And there was a woman sleeping on the bed, but I couldn't wake her up. As I explored the house, I guess she woke up because there was banging sound. And she knocked me out, I assume. And then I woke up in a random part of the map, right next to a note, which I was going to assume was going to explain who she was and what the hell happened. However, I was instantly killed, and it happened by a random mob. And it happened so fast, I didn't see on the map where I woke up. So whatever was written on that note, I don't know. I can't tell you. So anyway, let's go to the church. Now, to grab a weapon, they are literally all over the place. Sort of. There's one. Now, every time we exit a building, the weapons randomly regenerate. Now, that's annoying, because sometimes you can leave a building and you can be running around for a long time before you find one. And you can encounter enemies in that time, where you can get killed. I have seen some information saying that the weapons break as well, but I've never had that happen. There is also on the outskirts a arena where you can fight enemies, and some of the hidden achievements are for killing 100 enemies, which is a lot, and killing 1,000. That's a secret achievement. Killing 1,000 enemies in this game would be very, very time consuming. There's an ATM that we can save the game at. There we go. Now, one of the issues with the enemies, there is a spider enemy in the game. And quite often they will actually glitch and bug out. And they constantly respawn and come back to life. There's another ATM. Now, unfortunately, ATMs are rather hard to pick out on the map. So if you do want to save, it's not always easy. But there are a decent amount of buildings that we can go in and explore. This game actually has a pretty decent atmosphere. We don't want to capture. So that's what we've got. We've got house, building, point of interest, player marker. There is an attachment that we can get for our flashlight, which will turn it into a UV flashlight. I can't find any information on what this actually does. Although I do know that it doesn't make it last any longer. So the church is a little bit back from where we came. We're there, so we need to kind of go behind us to get to the church. Back up this way. We've dropped the weapon, because of course we have. Now, enemies are random. And we've got C3 tattooed on our arm. We don't know what this means. So we're not going to worry too much about it. So the idea behind this game is pretty solid. And from what I can understand, the sequel is much, much, much improved. There's some more Dr. DNA up here. I was considering making this a Let's Play, but I'm not sure. Because the game genuinely, truly, really is very broken. And there's a bit in the church, actually, that I was stumped at for ages. And ooh, there's a crowbar there. I will get into that when we get there. It does look remarkably better on the PC. Like, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, I'll be honest. Apart from the fact it's 30 frames. But yeah, the PC does look much nicer. Obviously, right? Can we go into any of these buildings? Lock Lane. Doesn't look like it. We'll do the church and then we'll call it a video. Now, these areas that we go into to get pieces of the ID card aren't very long. You know, I think the longest one I did was probably the school. I think it took me about 15 minutes, something like that. So here's the church. Of course, we can't enter with a weapon for some reason. Wait, is that not the church? No, that is not where we need to be. Everywhere kinda looks the same, as I'm sure you've noticed. Now, certain areas, for instance, like the wooded areas and places like that, are more dangerous than others. I don't know why my weapon keeps falling out of my hand. That is something that I have noticed. Of course, this area is protected. We can't go in with a weapon. Well, that looks rather grisly. Yeah, the loading times on the Switch are kind of long as well. But what do you want, I suppose? Technology in the Switch is 10 years old now. And worse than that, the Switch is massively underclocked as well. So, find the pieces. Yeah, it just looks really low resolution, and there's not a lot of post-processing going on here, whereas on the PC there's a lot of it. Alright. So, we have some numbers here. I wonder if that's going to be important. Let's have a little look. So that fella that was chasing us in the beginning of the game, he is a reoccurring character. I don't know how he gets around these locations, but we're not going to question it. Thanks for agreeing to help out with the ritual. Today's hymns are extremely important. Be sure to keep a note of them before they're changed, and never forget a painting is worth 1,000 words. Uh-huh.
Sam, I don't know what you've been doing recently, but there's lots of noise about your church. We're getting calls every day about your state of mind. Now, while I understand the importance of faith in today's world, you must keep in mind that problems in Hanwell, well, they cannot be solved by superstitious rituals. Just leave it to the doctor.
Leave it.
Lucky that we're friends. Anyone else would have locked you in the wards by now.
Leave it to the doctor, huh? That doesn't sound like the best advice I've ever heard. So, looky. So apparently, these numbers are important. And they are. So if we take a peep at these numbers, some of them are the same, some of them are different. Now, this took me a good while to actually work out. And I think off the top of my head, the password is 6291, I believe. Because it's the only set of numbers there that... Or should I say it's the only row of numbers that is consistent. 6291. Let's try that anyway. 6291. It is. Cool. And if we come here, we have a key. A key to the castle. Yeah, this game is not running too well, I'll be honest. I don't mind the visual downgrade, but the frame rate is bad. Like, ooh, that almost looks like a person. I don't mind 30 frames a second. Like, I'll accept it if it's all we have. But oh god, that's slow. But it's got to be consistent. Like, you know, 15 frames a second isn't 30. At least this game is somewhat slow paced. More Doctor's DNA. I don't know where or how he got these everywhere. These also remind me of the whipped cream can from Jurassic Park. Hello. Almost had too much God. Almost. Right, well, looks like that area is locked up. More doctor DNA. Let's grab that. Help me. Well, I think you might be out of luck. Let's turn this switch. Oh my god, yeah, we're at like 10 frames. Somebody's having a bad time down here. Yeah, as soon as... Oh, Jesus. There's no god here. The god of frame rate has deserted us. Oh my god. Can I... There we go. Oh, oh man. Yeah, you can see her throat's been... Oh, you can't really tell. But yeah, her throat has been slit. That's not great. That's not great at all. Anyway, let's use our key. So, the bug that I had is we need to get into there. Because that's where the piece of ID card is. However, this is broken. The wire appears to be broken. So, I was walking around here for ages, and oh god, I thought there was something I was missing, or maybe I couldn't do this bit yet. But then the game did tell us we can do anything we want, in any order we want, and it even recommends coming to the church first. Now, there is this here.
I am sorry, child, but you have been chosen. Only the will of God Almighty can rid the world of the horrors within. He has spoken to me. I am the messenger. And you, my dear, you are the vessel.
As logs go, that is a pretty horrific one. Now, this box here is what we need to pick up to connect the wire. Now, for whatever reason, for ages, that didn't show up as a grabbable item. It was only when I quit and loaded back in. It might not even have been there thinking about it. So that's another bug that I encountered. But anyway, we can stick that in there. And that will allow us to fiddle with this knob. We like to have a good fiddle with knobs sometimes. Right, what have we got? So that is the second piece of the puzzle. Now we can get out of here. Also, it feels like you're running with a lot of momentum. Like, just walking, changing direction when you're running is not easy. But I think that might be exacerbated by the frame rate, because I didn't notice that on the PC. So there's obviously some pretty nasty goings on in this church. If we could... There we go. Struggled to actually get through there then. And that's the first section anyway. At least one of them. And our torch is about to break. Any minute now. Seems to be sometimes a little bit inconsistent with how long it takes to break. Right, let's go through here. And that is our boy with his mouth sewn shut. B6 something or other. And that is as far as I'm going to go here. Because we've been going for quite a while. And I think... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I think I've shown enough of this game off. It's... If you judge it on the fact that it's free, it's very difficult to complain. Because I think there is a somewhat compelling story here. Possibly hidden in the mess that is this game. It's incredibly rough, obviously, right? If you judge it at the price of £14, I don't know, man. I don't know. It is a game that I would actually like to play all the way through just to see what happens, to get the story. Because from an atmosphere standpoint, it's not that bad. You know, it's okay. It's just so crunchy and janky. And considering it was made by like one dude in his basement or whatever, I guess. Now, we did play Welcome to Hanwell, or Beyond Hanwell, which was the sequel to this. We did a tries of that a long time ago, and that was way better. That was actually quite good. So if this game crawled on the pavement coated in boiling oil so that game could, you know, be successful, fair enough, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to leave this one here. Not sure whether I'm going to create a proper Let's Play of this or not. I don't know. Is anyone interested in seeing this whole game? But at the same time, if you want to try it yourself, you've got a PC, and this thing will run on a potato. It's free. But it's buggy and glitchy. And yeah, just jank. So anyway, guys, that was Welcome to Hanwell. I think it's available on literally everything. So I'm going to leave it there. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to chuck me a like. And I will see you guys in the next video.